Welcome to Advanced Studies Chemistry. My name is Mr. Bailey, and I'll be your child's instructor for this year. This is my 23rd year teaching chemistry. 5 years at Lee Summit High School, then I helped open Lee Summit West and have been here ever since. I am a father as well as a teacher. In fact, I have a daughter in the 10th grade and a son in the 8th grade, so I'm seeing this entire process from both the parent side and the teacher side, and I can tell you, while it does have its challenges, we're going to make it. I love the sense of wonder that kids have when they see a scientific phenomenon, and I try as often as possible to bring real things into the lab. For example, when you have a clear, colorless solution in a test tube, and you mix it with another clear, colorless solution, but you get a bright yellow solid powder that forms when they interact. Why? What's going on? What happens? And what does that tell me about how the universe is put together? That's one of the exciting things, not only to see that, but to watch your students see that. Most of our interactions are going to happen through Schoology while we are in this virtual environment. So let me navigate to that part of our course. I would try to be as organized as possible here. On the right-hand side, you'll see a calendar of upcoming events. Great way to keep track of due dates. There is a digital copy of the textbook, and we're not going to spend a lot of time just reading the textbook, but it is there when we need it. And if you're stuck trying to find some materials, like, oh, I know there's a quiz coming up, but I can't seem to find it in the right folder, if you click on All Materials, you can just click on a category like Quizzes, and every quiz shows up regardless of which folder it's in. So pretty convenient. In our unit folder, let me click on Unit 1. We actually have a subfolder for every day that your child is in class. So they can just click on the folder for that day, and it does have completion rules set up so this thing will turn to a green check mark when they have everything done inside, an easy way to keep track of what you're doing each day. If we have a block class, like we plan to do in this virtual schedule, you'll see a Part 1 and a Part 2, both on the same day to allow us to have that block of time together. Inside each folder, typically we'll have some instructions, often a discussion board to help kids interact with each other. There might be some instruction in the form of video or written work. And then we have some handouts. We've already printed these and put them in the school kids' back to school packets. But instead of turning in a handout paper-wise, we have replicated those questions in an easy to turn in format. So the kids will get credit for their homework right there in Schoology. Once they turn that in, they'll be able to see if their answers are correct or not. And if they're not correct, they can compare that to the key, and they can turn it in a second time with the correct answers. We expect every kid to get 100% on the homework. We want them to try things. We want them to check to see if their thinking is on the right track or not. We want them to revise their thinking. And if all that happens, we're good with what's happening in homework. All right, once a student has completed the homework, about 5 times a unit, we're going to check things through a quiz. Quizzes are found in a quiz folder. And we ask students to get 80% or better on a quiz before the next quiz becomes available to them. They're going to get 3 attempts on each quiz. And if they take a quiz and don't get 80% by their 3rd attempt, we simply ask them to communicate with me in some fashion, be it email or through a Google Hangout, and tell me what it is they've studied, what they know about the question they've missed, and why they're not going to miss it again. If they can do that, I have no problems. Give them an extra attempt on that quiz. It also creates wonderful one-on-one conversations with students who are struggling in one aspect of the course. Besides quizzes, we also have some tests out there. Our first test is scheduled right now for October 6th. So that's going to show up down here in this folder when we get to that. And if you miss any questions on a test, you can go back and revise those for half credit. We'll have a process for that part. In addition to tests, We'll also be doing lab work in the course. We are not sending chemicals home with your students. Instead, we have taken some pictures of the labs, and the students can walk through the procedures. They can take observations right off the pictures that are here. If they're taking a measurement, then they can read the measurement right off the pictures and get a sense of the experiment. From time to time, we may do this in video format, or we may actually do some simulations online as well. But as much as possible, we're not going to be skipping lab. We're going to be looking for ways for your kids to experience the laboratory phenomenon. There are several ways your students can get a hold of me if they need. I am available by email quite a bit. In fact, I enjoy taking the moment to make detailed answers, help kids understand things through that process. And if they have a great question that I think is helpful for the entire class, I may post that question with my response in our discussion board so that everybody can see it. I do remove their name from that when I do so. I'm also going to be available in Google Hangouts or Google Meet. And if they type in Chemistry with Mr. Bailey to join that meeting, that nickname should log into whichever room I'm in. Appreciate if they do that during the time they're scheduled for class, as I'll probably be dealing with other students at other times in the day. But I'll leave that meeting open as often as I can to interact with kids. It won't be all the time, but it should be pretty frequent that I'm available in that format. It's going to be a fantastic year. I look forward to meeting your kids, and we can do this. It's going to be okay.